Oil giant Saudi Aramco reports 33% profit surge, despite Iran war disruptions. That's the headline from the New York Times, and it tells a story of record earnings amid escalating conflict in the Middle East. Saudi Aramco, the world's largest oil company, announced on Tuesday that its adjusted net income for the second quarter April through June hit $33.4 billion. That's a 33% jump from the $25.2 billion it earned in the same quarter last year, and by some measures the biggest quarterly profit since 2022. The surge comes even as the war in the region has severely disrupted the company's main supply routes. The United States and Israel launched military strikes against Iran on February 28. Since then, Tehran has effectively paralyzed vessel traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, the critical waterway for oil and gas shipments from the Persian Gulf. In response, Saudi Arabia quickly redirected more than 70% of its oil through a pipeline that runs from its eastern fields to western port terminals on the Red Sea. That alternative route allowed Aramco to keep exporting millions of barrels per day. The company produced the equivalent of 9.5 million barrels of oil per day in the second quarter, down sharply from 12.6 million barrels in the previous quarter. But it sold that oil for an average of $108 per barrel, a big jump from about $77 per barrel in the first quarter of the year. Chief Executive Amin H. Nasser called the past months one of the most challenging ever in the history of Saudi Aramco. On a call with investors, he credited the pipeline in part with allowing the company to limit supply losses. But now that alternative route, through the Bab al-Mandab Strait, has also become dangerous. On July 20, the Houthis, an Iran-aligned militia in Yemen, declared a blockade on Saudi vessels transiting the Red Sea and have claimed attacks on several ships since then. Much of Saudi Arabia's oil exports have now rerouted through Egypt, though tankers there have been vulnerable to drone strikes. The Saudi Defense Ministry said last week the country is forming a military coalition to protect Red Sea shipping from further attacks. Meanwhile, Iran said on Monday it was holding talks with Oman on temporarily reopening the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump said he canceled a threatened assault on Iran over the weekend, citing possible progress in reopening the strait and pleas for calm by Saudi Arabia and other allies. On Tuesday, Nasser said Houthi attacks had no material impact on Aramco's capabilities, but he warned that continued disruptions to shipping in the region could damage the global economy. Aramco's profits are crucial to Saudi Arabia, funding the kingdom's ambitious economic diversification plans. For now, the oil giant has shown it can adapt, but the shipping lanes it depends on remain a flashpoint. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, and this has been your Energy Brief.